Hello, my name is John Reese, and I'm going to be demoing the Ticker application. So the application was primarily written in JavaScript. I am using NPM as my package manager. So over here on the left-hand side, you can see I'm using Babel as my JavaScript compiler. This lets us write ES 2015, 2016 JavaScript and allow it to be supported by any browser. jQuery and jQuery SOAP to handle the SOAP web requests, JSON DOM and JSON DOM Global to introduce the DOM into my Mocha tests, Mocha for the actual unit tests themselves, and then Webpack, which will handle all of my build and bundling. So to start things off, as stated before, I do have Mocha ready to go. We can verify that by doing npm test. And this should run our unit tests. Currently, I just have one. I mean, the application itself is generally pretty simple. It's just going to be 3 web service calls and then display data about those web services. So there's not a whole lot of things that are going to be testable, but I just wanted to at least get one in there to show that the code has been tested in some form. The unit tests are viewable in the test directory, and this test is just showing that when I call the ticker info callback function, that the spans that will include that data actually have the data populated with them. For the application itself, it is, again, relatively straightforward. It is an application that is going to focus on typing in a ticker symbol for stocks, and when you press search, it will return information such as the company name, the stock price at open, the stock price is high for the day, and the low for the day. There will also be a logo that will appear here, which is another web service, and then I have a custom web service, which I'll get into later, that actually records your searches and then displays them as well. So for the 3 web services, we have this one here. This is a ticker info. Again, it'll pull back all this information. The logo that you'll see appear here, this is another web service, REST web service, that given a ticker symbol will pull back a logo, and then another web service that I actually made in REST that stores and displays ticker information. So if we were to run this, but first I'll need to actually start my web service. We can hit play here. This will just be essentially a blank screen. I mean, it's a web server, so there is no UI to display. I guess real quick, there is 2 endpoints here. There's going to be a post and a get. The post is for adding tickers into the search history, and then a get endpoint to get all of the searches. Limit 5, so I'm just showing the previous 5 searches. So now that that's running, if I were to say type in AMD and we hit search, we get 3 web services firing off. Again, here's all the information about the stock, the logo, and then the previous searches. And then to see a little bit of that in action, we have here Fiddler, which just kind of shows you network traffic. You can see here, this is one of the web services. This is xlogos.xml get logo, and this is the logo web service. Delayed stock quote, this is the actual information about the stock. And then this is my custom web service running on localhost, the history web service. There's 2 calls, one for actually adding the stock to the database, and then there's another one to actually get the stock from the database, because we need to re-render the screen. And then, so if we were to run this again, say for Microsoft, the logo changes and gets added, and we see more information. Do NVIDIA. FTX, for example. Not all companies will have a logo that are in the API, as we can see here. And then last, just to show the 5, we can do Blizzard for Activision. So the custom web service, which is again right here, this was just written in Web API. It's pretty straightforward. It's using Light database on the back end, which is just stored on my local computer for now, which we can kind of see here. CDB, and this is stored in a database file, and these are where all of the search entries are kept. The web services working themselves for the logo web service, that is a REST call, as we can kind of see here by the .get. This requires an API key. I had to sign up for it, and they gave me their own key. And then the data that we're actually sending to the REST service is I'm requesting a symbol. The symbol that I'm requesting passed in here, the ticker, and then of course my token. The quote, this is the SOAP web service. This one's a bit more complicated because we have to parse the XML that comes back and extract the data that comes out of it. But this also includes, we need to have a namespace associated with it. We're using SOAP version 1.2. We're calling the .getQuote method. And then this is the associated URL. I'm actually able just to use a license key of 0 for testing purposes. And then for my custom web service, it's just, again, it's 2 very simple REST calls, one for post to add searches, and one for get to be able to pull the web services back. The application itself, again, primarily JavaScript with some jQuery for some syntactic sugar and just ease of use when writing JavaScript. Everything's done in callback, so every time I fire off a web service, every time the web service is complete, one of these callbacks will be fired, and it will display the information on the website.